Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was the childhood for a whole generation. While the original animated series from Fred Wolf Productions might have been just a loose adaptation of the comics it was based on, it was still easily the most beloved entry of the franchise. For the time period that it debuted in, the show was just right. It had the best balance of adventure, action, comedy, and just all-around fun, reaching a level of popularity that few others have reached. Sadly, it's clear in hindsight that the first show went past its shelf life and couldn't adapt for a change in what viewers were looking for. A failed attempt to make the cartoon grittier, followed by an even more misguided attempt to copycat the series that was surpassing it, meant the Heroes in a Half Shell pretty much disappeared from pop culture with less than a whimper. For many people, it seemed like the Turtles would be relegated to history and obscurity, with next generations perhaps not even knowing what they were about. And then...
My name is Leonardo, and right now my brothers and I are in a mess of trouble.
Nobody messes with the purple dragons, especially wearing stupid turtle costumes.
He's wrong. We're not wearing costumes.
In 2003, fans of Reptiles and Nunchaku received the ray of hope we thought we may never see. A new Ninja Turtle series was coming, airing on the Kids WB lineup Saturday morning and being produced by... Okay, that might not have been the best sign. Now, remember, I'm not a huge anime fan, so I definitely can't verify this, but I believe this was back when quite a few fans of animation wouldn't be sad if 4Kids headquarters burned to the ground, due to their infamous reputation of badly dubbing anime series. But hey, maybe this show could help them turn around their reputation, right? Well, there was one other thing that was in this show's favor. I pointed out that Peter Laird clearly was the one who had much more of a passion about the franchise, and that was proven true in 2000 when he bought up Kevin Eastman's share in Mirage Studios. This series, unlike Next Mutation and even the Fred Wolf series, would have him taking on much more of a direct involvement. That's one other thing you should know about this review series. I've always felt it odd to label each show by its debut year, especially the first one, since it premiered in December of 1987, and most of its episodes came out in the 90s. So I'll be referring to them either by the order they came in or by the production company, meaning the first show will be called the Fred Wolf series and the second one the 4Kids series. I should also point out that I can't speak for other fans who grew up with the first show. For me, I knew going in that this series would be different from the first and likely be more true to the source material, having known for a while about the original comics and that the movies were based off of them. So I knew this would be completely different from the series I grew up with. Perhaps there was a slight note to that fact in the pilot episode's title, Things Change. It's here that we are introduced to our four heroes once again.
Too noisy, Donatello. Too clumsy, Michelangelo. Poor choice, Raphael.
And yes, I should point out that no, the Turtles' backstory is not given in this pilot, and in fact would not be given for the first couple of episodes. Instead, we're immediately thrown into a scene where their lair is attacked by Mousers? Mousers that have multiple layers of upper teeth. Enjoy your dreams tonight, kiddies!
Master Splinter! Can you hear me? Donatello, any way to... What are you doing?
Shell Cell, I'm calling Master Splinter.
Shell Cell? Well, I guess it's not that much dumber than Turtlecom. By now, we've also seen the new personalities in these turtles. As expected, Leonardo is more serious and definitely more official in his role as captain, while Raphael has gone from the jokester to the abrasive hothead. Though most of his confrontations aren't with Leo, but with Michelangelo, who does come off as being even more of a lazy goofball than in the first series. Donatello? Not that much different. And of course, Splinter is much more commanding and authoritarian in his role as teacher and de facto father. Anyway, with the Mousers chewing up their home, the pilot becomes about the Five finding a new place. The search forces the Turtles to go topside for the first time, where they take on a street gang called the Purple Dragons before fleeing a tribe of ninjas in the Punk's truck and finally reuniting with Splinter, who has found a new home for them.
This is beyond awesome! I could really tune this space up.
You see, my sons, change is good.
We couldn't agree more, Master Splinter.
I'll admit the pilot was decent, but it could have had more to it. When I first saw it, it felt like I had missed a previous episode. Would I have given the Turtles history in the pilot? Yes, but I had a good feeling watching this that at least such information would come to us eventually. That takes us to A Better Mousetrap, where we see the inventor of the Mousers, Baxter Stockman?
Build a better mousetrap, and the world will beat a path to your door.
Yes, this is indeed how Baxter was portrayed in the original books. So, why was he changed into Emmett Brown's Mini-Me in the first show? Apparently, it was because of people getting upset over a big Asian guy bullying a black man. Whatever. The point is, this is a completely different Stockman. Sinister and ruthless, as we see when he tries to take out his assistant for getting too nosy. An assistant named April O'Neil.
I'm afraid I can't let you live, Miss O'Neil. You've seen far too much already, and, well, let's just say I have trust issues.
Yes, April is a lab technician in this series. I'll get more into this incarnation of April as these videos go on, but for now, I think you know how this is going to turn out.
Hey! How you doing?
It has 3 fingers! I'm asleep, I'm asleep, I'm asleep, I'm asleep.
You know, it actually looks like the April from the first series took this better.
I'm talking to it. To you! Okay, April. You are talking to a giant 3-fingered turtle. The only logical explanation is that you're dreaming. So everything's okay. Hello!
Leah made us some tea and she's ready to consider we might be real.
It's in the third episode that Splinter tells April, and by default the audience at last, of where he and the Turtles came from. It's the backstory from the original comics and the movies. He was originally a rat living on the streets when he saw a near accident causing the 4 turtles to be lost down the sewer with a can of strange ooze that transformed all of them into humanoid creatures.
Realizing that the world above is sometimes a dangerous place, I began teaching them ninjutsu, the secret arts of stealth and power.
But how did you know martial arts?
That is a story for another time.
And with that, the Turtles and April work together to stop Baxter's plan to rob banks with his Mousers to secure funds for, you guessed it, Oroku Saki. Yeah, at the end of each of these episodes, we keep getting more and more information on how Saki not only has Stockman under his employ, but also controls the Purple Dragons, who are led by this steroid-infused goon named Han.
You must pay the price for failure, Dr. Stockman.
No! Where are you taking me? You'll regret this!
Well, I'm sure they won't do anything too harsh to him.
And the authorities are completely perplexed by the destruction of the Stocktonics building and the sudden disappearance of Dr. Baxter Stockman.
What will you do now, Miss O'Neill? You are most definitely out of a job.
Have you considered a career in investigative journalism?
We'll help you get back on your feet.
In the 4th episode, we meet everyone's favorite hockey mask-wearing vigilante, Casey Jones. And it is a nice touch that here we get a look into just why Casey became such a brutal vigilante.
A long time ago, when I was a kid, some young punks were shaking my dad down for protection money. They were Purple Dragons. When he didn't pay, they torched our store.
You tell your old man, punk. Next time, pay up or else.
It's in the same episode that the Turtles find secrets to their new lair, in that some strange civilization may have built it, while Donatello and them transform the truck they commandeered in the pilot into a ground-level assault vehicle. And I will admit that, yes, the battle shell is pretty awesome.
There he is! Floor it, Don. Keep up with him. You go get him, Raph. I whipped up something special for you. It's in the back. Like it? I call it the Shell Cycle. Donatello, you are the turd.
As the episodes progress, we continue to get little hints into the story. For example, the Turtles find the Sword of Tengu, which Saki had in his possession, and we learn of a group of Matrix fanboys that are at odds with Saki. Meanwhile, the Turtles help April move into her antique shop apartment, and it's here she meets Casey.
You're not a turtle.
Definitely not.
My last job ended kind of weirdly.
Oh, I get it. Why, you waiting for a real job to come along? You just hiding out in your pop's junk shop. It's cool.
It's an antique shop, and I'm not hiding from anything.
Wow, Case, you had her right in your hand, and you throw it away like that. When you make me look better at attracting women, that's sad. It all comes to a head with the 2-part episode, The Shredder Strikes. Saki actually at first approaches Leonardo with the offer to join forces with him.
You have been caught in the middle of a battle that is so much bigger than yourself.
So what are we gonna do, Leo? What I should have done in the first place. Talk to Master Splinter.
My sons, I had hoped this day would never come.
And here at last, we get the history of Splinter and Saki.
My master was a ninja of great power. One of the greatest practitioners of ninjutsu in many centuries. But that life ended when the Shredder sent his foot ninja to attack my master. The Shredder had taken my master Yoshi from me, from the world.
And this is one area where this series does venture away from the original comics. Here, Splinter reveals he never told his students about this before because he didn't want them living with a desire for vengeance. Whereas in the comics, Splinter trained the Turtles specifically to avenge Yoshi's death.
Foot Ninja, attack! Destroy them!
It's in this first fight with the Shredder that the Turtles meet up with the Matrix guys, who we learn are a group of people who call themselves the Guardians.
I'm the Guardian.
Not those Guardians, and you know it!
None of you will leave here alive. Shredder! No!
You destroyed my family once. I will not allow that to happen again. This is for my master Yoshi.
Be okay. Well, no, probably not now.
So the Turtles return home to their sewer lair, safe in the knowledge that Yoshi has finally seen justice and the Shredder has been shredded. Or has he? Following the Shredder's defeat, we get this filler episode where Mikey tries to team up with an actual superhero. Not sure where they were going with that, since I'm not sure if he's going to appear again, before we get a three-parter called Notes from the Underground. The Turtles find a whole subterranean city where live a bunch of people that were turned into mutants by the Shredder's Foot organization. It's one of the first stories here to not get a truly happy ending, as while the Turtles find a way to restore the people to their human state, said people still have to remain down below in order to stay that way.
We can't let you stay. Who knows how long it'll take?
But just taking off is not our style.
Please, you have your own lives to get back to.
But there's little time for them to remorse as they discover the Foot Ninjas are storming the sewers looking for them and vengeance. This forces them to abandon their lair and take up shelter at April's place. And I'm sure nothing bad is going to come from this at all. There's another filler piece titled The King, where Donatello gets drawn into a comic book world, which was basically one big tribute to Jack Kirby, so yeah, major props there. That's quickly followed with The Shredder Strikes Back. This is essentially the same story as the second act of the first movie, only Leonardo is the one ambushed by the Foot rather than Raphael, where he discovers that sure enough, the Shredder is alive.
He's back. The Shredder.
Other than that, it's pretty much the same thing. The Foot Ninjas attack the Turtles at April's apartment, Casey has to barge in to save them all, before Shredder and the Foot burn down April's place, and they have to retreat and recuperate at an upstate farm, although this time it's Casey's family that owns the farm rather than April's.
I require evidence of their demise.
Scientific proof, perhaps?
I did not send for you, Stockman. Provide me with proof that the accursed turtles are no more, and you shall be so rewarded. Fail me, and your next punishment will be your final punishment.
While they're up there, there's the story about them saving an abominable snowman or something, but the real story here is Leonardo's struggle with not just his physical, but emotional injuries, plagued by self-doubt from his defeat.
Raph, I'm not in the mood.
For what?
I don't need to hear how I messed up in New York, okay? I got my shell kicked. I let everyone down. I lost my swords!
Hang on, Leo. I wasn't gonna say anything like that. I was gonna ask you what you're doing out here.
Nothing.
Well, that's too bad, because I know exactly what you should be doing, and I think you do too.
It's a really powerful piece here, as it shows that while Leo can be tough on the others, he's even tougher on himself. And it really says something that it's Raphael above all the others that's the one to help him get back on his feet.
Allow me to introduce you to Leonardo. New and improved.
Hey everyone.
Welcome back, bro! Leo, welcome back.
Yeah! Guys, I think it's time we return to New York and finish our business with the Shredder, once and for all.
That takes us to Return to New York, where the Turtles plan an all-out assault on the Shredder's headquarters. Raphael likens it to a video game, and that might actually be pretty accurate, as they end up fighting monsters like mutant Shredder clones, and before they can confront Saki himself, they have to deal with...
Baxter Stockman, you blind, ignorant, self-important fool. I didn't make the suit to help you, Shredder. I made it to destroy you. For every punishment you inflicted upon me, I will make you suffer tenfold.
Gee, you know, I hope all of these Stockman conversions don't get into something really insane eventually. Oh, by the way, I know I haven't brought this up yet, but I will also admit that yes, Splinter is a badass in this show, as evidenced here when he takes out the elemental fiends using the Sword of Tengu.
Fire melts metal. Water quenches fire. Earth swallows water. Wind scatters earth. And I shall quell the wind.
Each component of my cyborg armor has its own internal backup power source.
So, what you're saying is, this arm should still be fully functional, right?
Oh no.
Fire in the hole!
My lords, it's the Turtles. They're alive. They have engaged the Shredder in the heart of his lair. Easy? No. But perhaps we can offer you a little assistance.
We?
But of course, the final battle with the Shredder has to be with Leonardo.
He might be okay. Well, no, probably not now.
The Shredder appears to have been taken out for good, but all is not celebration for the Turtles as Splinter has disappeared. And it actually takes them the next 3 episodes to figure out, hey, you know those Matrix wannabes called the Guardians? Maybe they took him. It's in the 2-part season finale that the Turtles seek out the Guardians' headquarters, where they discover they may hold other secrets.
Techno-Cosmic Research Institute?
TCRI? That's the
The what? Tell me!
TCRI was printed on the canister of ooze that mutated us into what we are. The secret to our origin could very well lie within the walls of that building.
Infiltrating the TCRI building, the Turtles find out the Guardians are actually Alien brain-like creatures that move about in android bodies? Why in the world does that look familiar?
Look. Master Splinter!
Stop! Listen to me! You must get off of there immediately!
I can't move my feet!
I can't stop it! It's too late.
They're gone.
Yep, that's pretty much how the first season ends. Well, I did leave out one tiny little detail from earlier. That whole thing about the Shredder being taken out for good? Overall, though, despite my ribbing, yeah, this new series does pay off so far. It works for the next generation in showing off a new side to the Turtles that Peter Laird most likely wanted from the beginning. Though I hesitate to call this a more grim version, there are still plenty of more lighthearted moments, particularly between Mike and Raph, and the unique character traits are still entertaining. I wouldn't call this a darker version, but I would call it a more dramatic version. There was effort put in to crafting a long, overreaching story arc, one that was actually based off of the stories in the original comics. That isn't to say there aren't some things I still definitely prefer with the first series. To me, the animation of the first had a lot more detail put into it, and I'll always have a special place for the Chuck Lorre, Dennis C. Brown soundtrack that was truly an extension of the adventures, while the music of the second just seems to be along for the ride, so to speak. Still, the seeds were planted to show the Turtles in a new light that hopefully the next generation would latch onto. And maybe, just maybe, it was paying more homage to the first show than some might let on. We'll get more into that when we find out just what happened to our four green heroes next time.